Welcome back to the Berg podcast. With me today is Dan.
Hey, everybody.
And Ford.
Hey, how's it going?
And we're talking in a continuation, actually, of the episode that we just recorded.
Let's be purely honest. We realized that we'd have the same clothes on, so it looked the same because we're sitting in the same booth. And we're like, we're going to make it a continuation. Like, let's...
we definitely opened that episode by talking about how we typically don't load up episodes, right? And then we're like, we should just do another one. Right. We're sitting
here in the same space. We have time.
We've got a few minutes, and we're talking. The conversation's moving. So let's,
In our defense, Brian, we could easily record this podcast again in 3 weeks and be wearing these exact same outfits.
That's true. That's true.
I mean? So
I've got a limited number of
hand
things.
Up accountability. I would definitely be doing that.
Yeah. It's all right. We're off topic already, but I bought 2 new pairs of jeans recently.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, it's a big move for me because I do most of my shopping online, and I don't replace stuff that I like very often. And so I bought 2 new pairs of jeans, and Allie was saying something. She was like, I was like, I just feel like buying clothes at times is like frivolous spending, and I'm like, it just feels silly to me. And she's like, you wear jeans every day. I was like, I know, but they all look the same, and like. I could, as long as there's no problem with them, I could continue to wear the same pair every day. And she's like, no, you can't wear the same pair every day, first of all. And second of all, like, it's not frivolous spending when you buy things that you have to have. And she's like, and you probably bought them on sale, and you probably searched for the best deal. And I'm like, all right.
Like,
but
it got me. This is, again, no filter.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
So the other day, was after one of the snowstorms, and I came back. I stopped at my house, and I just wanted to get changed, and I was coming back. And so I jumped in the shower. We had been out all night. I don't know which day this was, but this is, as I'm saying it, I'm like surprised I'm going to say this. But so I went to get dressed, and all of a sudden I went to put on my jeans, which I have like a certain amount of pair of jeans, and I'm as bad as you are with the clothes. And I realized that my jeans were starting to fray, like right in the crotch. And I was like, all of a sudden I considered, I don't think I put on jeans in the daylight almost ever. Like I leave for work before it's light.
Yeah, you got dressed.
And like I'll take a shower and then like grab my jeans and quick put them on as I'm walking out, but Erin's asleep. So I'm not going to turn the lights on. And then you come home, like you have everything going on with the kids. Like because it was middle of the day, I noticed I was like, wow, these jeans could have been frayed for like, I don't know how long. I would have had no idea. When was the last time I put on jeans in daylight?
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
And then as far as the shirts, I actually picked this shirt today because Reese and Scott and Clemis all tend to wear this shirt on Fridays. Okay. I don't know why, but this has become their Friday shirt.
So you got to get
I wore it like 2 weeks ago, and we all had the same exact shirt on. So now I've taken.
Are we going to have like a wardrobe coordination email going around?
I made my own. I made my own adjustment. I said I'm going to wear it midweek.
Right, you got to get through the cycle before everyone else.
Yeah,
does.
I had to get off the. I had to get off of the same cycle as them with the shirts.
Yeah, I have a tendency to wear very similar things, like because I like what I like. I wear a polo shirt, and when it's cold out, I put like a quarter zip over it. And if it's a few degrees colder, I'll throw a vest on too, right? And
or a thicker quarter zip
with long sleeves.
So I do. Yeah, long sleeves. Always.
Right, that's good.
But the team, I have my little huddle with my team, and they're like, man, like your vest game is very strong. Like you have many vests. And like, is that a good thing? I don't know.
I've never worn a vest until this year. I have like 6 of them. Yeah. But I would never wear one. Now I'm like, I actually kind of, because I don't get real cold, but
I think it's like the perfect like hybrid, right? Like you got enough density on to keep you comfortable, but you're not like restricted by wearing a jacket. And if I can get away with it, I go vest.
Ford, we were talking, and I made you the topic of it. I don't remember how we got on the topic, but somebody was talking about, remember, shirts and like didn't have sleeves. It was in a project manager meeting. And I was like, yeah, Ford gave me this shirt because Ford would give me stuff sometimes. He's like, I don't want this. Do you want it? And he gave me like a hoodie that had no sleeves. And I like still have it. I was like, I have no idea why.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Do you wear it?
No, I'd never wear it. My closet is full of stuff that I will never wear. I don't know why. I don't know. Because I'm too cheap to get rid of it. Okay, so I save it.
I did the same thing.
And they were like, well, when would you wear a hoodie with no sleeves? I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I at some point I said I was going to ask for it. We don't have to discuss it now, but at some point I would like to know what you were thinking when you bought or did someone buy it for you and then you could throw them under the bus?
Well, do you wear?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
I don't even know what shirt
it was like an
about.
Under Armour gray hoodie with no sleeves.
Yeah.
And no sleeves like Belichick style. Like the sleeves weren't cut to
No.
be
They were
short
supposed to
sleeves.
be.
No, this
They're
is
just
like wide open
okay.
on the side.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we used to play basketball in shirts like that back in the day. I mean, this is like we're talking snap pants level.
Ooh,
age
snap
point
pants.
thing.
Snap
But
pants.
when you're talking about the jeans, I was thinking about that.
You got to take them off really fast.
Yeah, I know you got to be in a hurry. You know, oh, you're in a game. You like walk up from the side. You got to pop
Sure.
whatever. Yeah, sure. But I was thinking about jeans. Like when I grew up, you would have a pair of jeans, and probably there would be multiple patches on them.
Mm.
First, they didn't have any stretch in the jeans in the old days, right?
No, right.
And plus, you're out in the field, you're jumping on equipment, you're doing stuff, and then you'd have multiple colors because the people that were doing it were going to fix the rip. They weren't trying to match it or blend
Sure.
it in.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of, crotch area, knee area rips and stuff like that. So you'd have something that looked like a scarecrow because you weren't getting a new pair of jeans.
Right. Right.
And that was for a long time.
And then that's actually fashionable now.
Yeah, I know.
So
Well, you see these
Well, you
kids
can't
are
have
wearing
the
like
patching.
$200 pair of jeans with slices in it. You're like, I got like a pocket full.
You
You
see
can have
the-
any of those.
you see the way those things are made, and
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. They literally are just destroying brand
Yeah.
new garments so that they
Charge
look,
more.
Yeah, so they look used and yeah.
Well,
It's,
I'm
and
like,
it's
listen,
gotten-
none of you done anything
Yeah.
physical enough to actually create that problem.
So it's gotten crazy because I remember when that first came out, right? Because we're all old.
yeah.
When
yeah.
that first started to happen, I would get really aggravated with my cousins who were younger than me, who had these jeans. I was like, you realize you literally just paid for the jeans you would have if you just worked. I was like, there's a hammer that hangs. That's that rip.
That's what that. Yeah.
This one is like, I was an electrician, like this one is a pair of dikes, you know what I mean? Or like the ones in the knees is because you're like kneeling down to work on, like,
or your pocket popped
or
through.
your pocket pops through, right? Like, in other words, like you're literally just destroying the jeans to look like you worked.
Right.
Like, you should just go find a worker who's your size and say, hey,
I'd
could
like to
I
buy
buy
those
you a
jeans
new
from
pair?
You
You
can
can buy
probably
them-
get them super cheap.
super
right?
cheap.
The guy's like, "All right, this is great."
Onlyjeans.com.
Onlyjeans.com. It's back.
Oh no.
Another business model.
Oh no. Oh man. Ford's got all these only.
He does have all these only ideas.
Yeah, the only books.
All wholesome,
the
though. Only
Yeah,
books,
no, right.
only jeans.
Yep. Yeah, I understand.
Although only jeans could go sideways. I could see that being a problem potentially.
All right, let's not go there. Let's
All
not
right.
go there.
But
Keep
yeah,
it-
but the difference with buying stuff and, getting old, we can do the whole thing, but like jeans, even buy a new pair back in the day when I was starting to, it was like $30.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, that was like a pair of Levi's or whatever.
Mhm.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
No.
And
yeah,
so then
yeah.
we started going to like Duluth, or we used to have the Carhartt ones because they were
Okay.
like double thick for, to try and protect it or whatever it is. But those things were so rigid that they probably stood on their own.
Yeah, stand them up in the corner when you're
Yeah.
done. Mhm.
So you're wearing them, you're like,
Yeah.
I can't move these things.
Yeah.
And now everything has some like flexibility, so you wear longer and
Right.
stuff. But
It feels very American that
Yeah.
our clothes stretch.
yes,
Yeah, right. I mean, is that fair to
Walmart.
say?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that is.
It allows flexibility. We'll call it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You gotta
Flexibility,
wear
in,
your stretchy pants.
flexibility in my diet
Yeah.
is mostly what it allows.
Get a nice pair of stretchy jeans and a pair of what are the shoes that, like fake shoe flops that everybody wears
the
with the little holes in the top?
Crocs,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
right? Yeah,
You just
Crocs.
lost your video. By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you guys lost video. I'm probably still
He's,
good.
he's good.
Yeah.
He's getting
All right.
his shot. We'll just cut that out there.
We got to go sit with Brian on the couch.
We've never done a podcast side by side here.
We're not an airplane. I'm not trying to do
We're
that.
not- that is way bigger than an airplane seat. That is-
Wow,
And there's no rails to
The
protect
three
my
of
space.
us, it might not feel bigger.
Uh,
So,
Anyways.
that is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even that, the jeans have, they have changed. Like jeans are so, they wear out a lot faster now. They're not made to, made to last.
for sure.
Well, we won't even get into that with all products and how it's now made to, I think we were talking about one time, but like we had something go wrong with like a dryer in our house, and we called a couple places and like it's not worth repairing. Just
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
just throw it away.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah,
experienced.
I just went through that with the
Right.
dishwasher
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
now. They were like, yeah, don't
TVs.
fix it.
Your phones, your watches. There's literally nothing at this point that has the quality built into it that the intention is to make it last long.
Yeah, it's only supposed to be like limited lifespan,
Right.
which is crazy. I mean, we have a refrigerator at our house that was there when we moved in. Prior
Us
owner,
too.
prior owner
Mine goes
left
bad. I
it.
don't know what I'm going to do.
I have no idea. Prior owner left it, and so I have replaced my fridge in my kitchen 2 or 3 times probably in the time that we've lived in our home. That fridge in the garage that the owner left, that he probably got from somebody else, I think it's going on like 25, maybe 30 years old, and it's fantastic. It just keeps the stuff cold, So
I think we've talked about it before. That down at the Shore House, we replaced the original hot water heater. It was a glass lined hot water heater from 1921, like maybe 3 years ago, and there was nothing wrong with it. We just were redoing the house and we went to a tankless system. But whereas I've replaced my own hot water heater in my house more times than, you know what I mean, like 2 times.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the 100-year-old one runs fine.
It just was built to last. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't cry. Brian actually gave me a connection of a really good local contractor who replaced the dishwasher but fixed the oven. We had like a power surge that blew both things on me, and it was cheaper to fix the oven, but not a ton cheaper.
Right.
But it was just the principle of it. It was like, you know what, this is a really nice oven, and all that went was the electronics. We're just going to fix it, and it should run forever. Hopefully, that was a good decision.
It made you question it though. Like,
but I was like, I just can't. Like, it's just so wasteful. Like, you can just throw away a whole oven because like, the button stopped working. Like, that's ridiculous. It's not even what makes the oven go.
And it's crazy to me. And like, I don't even know what we were going to talk about when we started this.
That was more than 3 minutes ago.
Way gone. But it's crazy to me where that threshold in my mind has risen. And what I'm talking about is vehicles. Like, so we generally drive used older vehicles and try and get life out of them, and when we're done we just like sell them to a family member and like that kind of thing, right? But the cost to repair a vehicle, and a lot of this has changed in the last 3 to 5 years, but like it's starting to be like that with some of those things, right? My wife drives a nice little SUV, but it's like 10 years old, and like we just had to do a repair on it, and you're like, oh shoot, like should we actually spend the money to fix that thing? Like it's it's 10 years old, and I feel like the way that price point has gone up, you question it more and more. Like you're talking about the oven, and
even for industry wise, when you think about it with equipment, that because of how complicated the things have become outside of what they actually do, like sort of like the oven comment, like a bulldozer has to push dirt. Right. And they can all do that, but there's so much electronics controlling how it works and how efficient it is, if it has GPS, all these other things, that as a company, we've started to make the move that we're just going to be in a constant cycle of replacing to stay away from potential expensive repairs down the line. Like, it used to be that the model for these companies was built on the idea that you run the equipment until it's all paid off, and from then you make money.
And you rebuild it, and you rebuild it, and you rebuild it.
Right. But now,
in certain things, we still do that. Right.
Yeah. Well, we can.
When the price point's right.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will say,
especially on the older stuff.
Yeah. I was talking to Jim yesterday, and we have a little dump truck, and they can't find the parts to repair the truck.
Yeah. We're going to have to.
We can't go to a scrapyard. They can't, we're going to build it, the part. And this truck is 10 years old. I mean, it's not super old, but we don't use them real heavily, so they last a little bit longer for us. But he's like, yeah, we can't find the part in the US. They don't even make the part.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, this shouldn't even be allowed.
Yeah, and it is. It's so baffling, because you think there's an entire, a lot of our guys have like classic cars, and like I've gotten so old, like somehow my car is a classic, but which is shocking to me, right? Like my Mustang.
Here's your sign.
Yep.
Right, but so like you could get a part for like a 1929 Ford, but I can't get a part for a 2008 Ford, right? Like, doesn't that say there's something wrong with what we've done? Like, we've made them disposable
for it, right?
It's because we've made them disposable. But I like, that's where I would argue it's not that there's no market for it.
Yeah.
It's that they have removed the market for it, because it's, it reminds me of, I had heard
Cash for clunkers.
I had heard a story that when Lee Iacocca left Ford and went to Chrysler, and he built those Dodges, which I won't say the nickname for those boxes, those Dodges, they were virtually indestructible. And all of a sudden, Chrysler realized they had made a mistake, because if the car wouldn't break, people wouldn't buy a new car, right? Like, to buy a new car, you need a new car.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that the market doesn't exist. It's that they've deleted the market to create the market they want, which is you to buy a new fridge, you to buy a new dozer, you to buy a new truck.
But isn't it also because of the repair game? Like, if you think about it, in the old days, you bought a vehicle at a dealership, in theory, but then you got it repaired at a local shop. But now, if you bring a broken car, you probably because there's not as many independent repair places, you probably bring it back to a dealership and they have a salesperson that focuses on those people. And they're like, hey, it's going to be $2,800 to do that, but I'll give you this much for a trade-in and, go out the other door with a new vehicle versus that. Because a lot of small mom and pop repair places can't
do the
fix the
repairs.
things
Yeah,
because it's built in a way that isn't allowing for that.
Because they've had to keep up
Right.
with the technology. And that's where we started. That's what
Wow, we made a circle somehow. I don't know how we got there.
Trying to keep up or keeping up in general.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, I think that's what we were talking about. The idea of as things change, the game changes, so to speak, and you have to adapt or you get left behind.
You can choose to do that.
Which is
some
okay.
people do.
Yeah, it's
And there's a market for it.
and it is a choice. And yeah, there's absolutely a market for not conforming.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You started to talk about it like when we started doing this type of thing. In fact, we mentioned it in the last episode. Like when we started doing podcasts, we had gone to Build What because of something that
Was new.
and it largely did not exist in other places, right?
At least not locally.
Yeah, at least not locally.
And Brian, when you think like when we get at the core of what that is, like how crazy the evolution of this has been from whatever it was for 5-6 years ago is 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know that we had a picture that would have really done anything to any group of people other than someone trying to look at what it is that we did. Right. So I'm not saying we didn't have pictures, but we would have had like pictures of a specific pipe trench that we needed to have a picture of, or a very specific thing, but nothing that we could have projected outward that would have elicited any sort of response.
Yeah.
Right. And still to this day, like Aaron will talk about, when we get together with companies and these guys, they just talk about dirt or pipes or like an inlet and they're like interested in it. And to her, it's like foreign because it's not her thing. But the industry had never marketed itself to anyone. Like it was arguably
They didn't need to,
but
or they chose not to.
Well, because arguably it was the most necessary. So you didn't really have to market it. But the last, whatever that is, 5 to 7 years, the change in that to everybody marketing, and I feel like Ford was a little bit ahead on this with his desire to get the picture, to show the certain thing in the pictures. And one of our, not a competitor, but one of the other companies around here has a billboard up that I honestly, I've said it to both of you. I feel like we maybe should get royalties for it. Somebody should build with somebody,
right? Because
that billboard, it was exactly our initial idea. And it's just so honest and so plain, and there's not a lot to it, but it's what the industry doesn't do, right? We all put up like an ad somewhere that says like need an operator.
Yeah, and I think part of it is like, I think part of it might be like generational changing inside of the industry.
Necessary is all inventions.
Yeah, because I think what's happened is construction was always perceived by anyone outside of the industry as sort of like a second class job, right? Or like you work in construction because you didn't have another choice. You work in construction because you didn't get an education or whatever it might be. And so there was nothing like to glamorize about the industry. And what's happened, I think, in the last 10 years, maybe more, but at least in my experience, has been that people are like, oh shoot, like this is actually like cool. They do a lot of like really interesting, highly educated things. And a lot of them you didn't have to go get a degree for. And like people need to know this because it's not like going to get a college degree versus going to work in blue collar trades. The disparity is not what it originally or years ago was perceived to be.
Well, you know what? I thought of a really, as you were talking, I was trying to think of like an analogy because I love that. And I think it's about the money, right? Like that's what it was about. It was about who made what money and then what lifestyle that afforded you. And I tried to think of like how that would apply, what that would look like. And initially I said, well, what if you just switched it of what the value of those was? But the example actually I think already exists. Like do you know any kids who play lacrosse who football, baseball, basketball work better because of the money of it, who grow up and say, you know what I'd like to be? General manager of the Phillies. Like, no, they don't want to be general manager. You want to be the starting pitcher. You want to be the closer. You want to be the guy that hits the home runs. You want to steal bases. You want to be the worker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to be, most kids grow up wanting to be that thing, and it plays out with our work. You know what I mean? Like, guys, like, kids love equipment. They love all these things, but at some point there's a divergence where people become real and they say, like, okay, what I really want is to make X. You know what I mean? What I really want is to work, not in the rain. You know what I mean? And they start to make decisions and evaluate and make the decisions that way. But if you make that analogy, nobody grows up and wants to be the general manager.
Yeah.
They want to be the player.
Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't considered it that way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen in what we've done to society and blue collar work,
Right.
because of how we have pictured it. Like, sort of imagine, and maybe Bill Witt did this a little bit. Like, imagine if NFL Films was the one taping us working.
Yeah. Right.
Like, full time.
The Voice.
Yeah.
32 cameras, and you got, like what Facenda announcing it, you know what I mean? And you got like
Right.
a frozen tundra, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it would be like, whoa, that's pretty amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we didn't bother to do that. We let time, the industry let time pass us by. It didn't grow. Like, it didn't market itself.
Right.
Because you go back 3-4 generations and it was the job you wanted. But that changed because we chose not to market it as a society,
Mm-hmm.
and it went by, and then you lost that. So I think that's part of what's
Playing
going on.
catch up.
It's trying to play catch up.
Playing catch up. The game has changed, right? Yeah. So when we started this with BuildWit, Build was a young company, and we didn't know of anyone else who was doing sort of this sort of thing, right? Sort of trying to use podcasts or social media platforms and things like that to, like, not even to advertise, right? A lot of organizations thought, like, well, that's a place to tell people that I can provide a service or a thing, and that wasn't this at all. It was like, let's tell our story. Let's make sure that our folks are shown doing the cool stuff that they do, and let's talk about it a little bit, right? And so that was, like, different. So when we started that, whatever, 5 or so or whatever years ago, at least locally, a lot of people were like, wow, you guys, like, have social media, right? This is, like, construction doesn't do that, do they? And other people were doing it. It's not like we were the first. We didn't invent social media or construction in social media. And I don't think BuildWit did either. Excuse me. But to that end, it wasn't commonplace. And in the last episode, you were talking about it, and we talked about it a little bit, like, in the interim. But, like, now, the way social media platforms have adjusted and changed, and how the consumer gets or wants that information is adjusted and changed, we've got to do things different too, right? So if we
Or rat in the wheel, we got to follow where it's going.
Yeah, if we want to continue to do it and be a part of it, and that's currently the choice that we've made, we've got to adjust. Yeah.
Yeah, Heath said something. One of Heath's sayings, you remember? I'll clean it up just a little, but remember, he said, "I want to fly the plane from the front, not from the bathroom."
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I cleaned up what he said, and it's sort of that thing when Ford said about being a rat on the wheel, and that, like, I love that analogy. There's a couple of the kids' movies when it says, like, I run, then I run, then I run, and I get off, and I've gone nowhere.
Right.
Right. But there's a difference between that and being in control of the wheel. And so one of the things I wrote that's on the board in my office is that whoever writes history that's the narrative. Like, if you control the narrative, you write history. So if the story that's told, if you get the opportunity and you take the opportunity to tell the story, then that's the history. And if you don't, then history is whatever someone wrote. And so it's not about controlling in a sense of manipulating it. I'm talking about telling the story. Like,
Right.
What is the story? You tell that story, and it can be an engaging story. You look at even what's happened with TV, right? Like, TV has all the shows where everybody's going to sing and dance and do everything. But, between, whether it be the Western thing that's going on right now or the police dramas, like, people are watching shows about people working, doing the jobs that they don't want to do. You know what I mean? And it's because that is what people really want. Nobody wants to sit in a building. Like, you just don't. You know what I mean? You want to get out and be outside and do something and see the results of what you did. And
Sure.
it's hard to do that when you're typing on a computer. And that's not putting anybody down. It's a fear I have, like going forward with society, is as we continue to manipulate what the workforce is and how much work is actually done by people, that you end up with this, like, how are people going to feel fulfilled?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you don't have work to do, that's meaningful.
It's a good point. There aren't a lot of like really cool stories told about sitting in a cubicle.
Right.
Yeah.
Office Space.
Space, which is like,
but it's a comedy, and
people don't like it.
It was like 20 years ago.
and it's generally mocking
Yes.
the environment, right? Yeah,
and like anybody, like, because with Erin being in corporate America when she worked, like I would talk to those people and be like, that movie is hilarious. They didn't think it was funny at all. It reminds me of my uncles. They had said when Dazed and Confused came out, and I was like, this movie is hilarious. They didn't think it was that
They
funny.
didn't think it was funny
Because it was real to them. Like, to some degree, it can be a dramatization, but
Sure.
it's still real. And that's how I think Office Space, played to that group.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas, well, I mean, you got Gold Rush and all these shit. Like, in other words, it's already been done. It's seen. People will want to watch this. It's engaging. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to do it.
What do you call it? Like one of those shows you watch when you just like whatever, the towing show, on the Weather Channel or whatever it is. The guys that like go like
the repo guys.
No, not the repo guys, but these are guys up on like Coquihalla up in like British Columbia, and they're like towing and like
wreckers, like
like wrecker towing, and they're like they're out there. There's no plan. They have to be engineers on the job site. A truck and trailer went off the side of a cliff, and they got to figure out how to pull it back up in one piece, and they got to be doing like their math equations to figure out, which pulley block and all this kind of stuff like Bressler's does.
Sure.
But they actually videotape it up there.
Yeah.
And I'll watch it for hours because it's so unique that these guys are just a bunch of good, hardworking guys that, how did they figure it out? Well, they tried something that didn't work. So now all of a sudden, the one of the episodes, they had to tie to a tree to keep their truck in place because it was sliding off the road as they were trying to pull something back from wherever the damage was. And like, but they're just like, well, we'll try it. If the tree starts wiggling, then we'll stop and we'll redo something different. And it's like so interesting because
ingenuity and hard work.
Yeah. These guys, it's wintertime because the Coquihalla up there gets shut down. These guys are all in like 3 layers of Carhartts, and they're having to like lug chains and do all this kind of stuff. And it's just so interesting to see.
Yeah.
And I'm in this world, but to me, that is still intriguing because of what goes on, to make it actually happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that like that's something that we have to continue to evaluate, right? Do we want to? And if we want to, how do we continue to stay on the front edge and not fall behind, especially with things that we think are important, like telling our story,
our team story, showing what they do and how they do it and the great work that they do. And that is because I mean, we've said this in the beginning, this isn't me. This isn't what I like to do. But if it was up to me, the trucks didn't have names on them or anything else, but that's not what today is. Right.
Well, because, and let's be fair, like you would prefer a little bit to fly under the radar, right?
A lot more anonymity.
Yeah. But for the sake of like our team, our folks, having something that they can point to and say, I did, and I'm a part of, and we are doing, you got to have at least some presence.
You got to take one for the team, as they say.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. That's probably a decent place to wrap it up. We started all over, but we did actually get to where we thought we were going to get to. Folks, we hope you got something from this, and we hope you come back for another episode. Thanks. And we'll change our clothes next time.